Welcome back for another challenge. Last time we used the 7 starting dice for the entire dungeon to beat the final boss. Today's challenge is going to be a bit different. We will try to beat the game while only using the red attack dice. We will not be playing any dice other than attack. No block, no heal, not even boost. This shouldn't be possible. The idea for the aggro challenge was floated a while ago, around when Origins first came out. Immediately, people were trying it and saying it was impossible, and immediately were watering it down with exception. No, we're here for the true challenge. I won't play a die if it's not red. If my pal the Collector comes around, he'd better like seeing 3 red dice. Why is this challenge hard? It comes down to statistics and math. Let's say you have 7 pieces of candy in a jar. 2 of them are red, so you have a 28.5% chance to pull a red one. If you don't get a red one and try again, you now have a 33.3% chance to pull a red one, which is still pretty low. You draw 5 candies, and you might get both of the reds, but when you play them and draw again, leaving the non-reds on the table, the problem is you only have space for 6 candies total on the table. So the next turn, you will be in a position where you have 100% chance of drawing a red candy, but you can only draw 1. Now, let's imagine that you're using these red candies to kill your enemies, with a 33.3% chance of doing 1 damage, and a 66.7% chance of doing 2 damage. You can tell I'm talking about dice here actually, so I'll drop the metaphor. The red attack dice are slightly weighted in favor of rolling a 2, but that's still not much damage. Even the absolute best case scenario on the very first fly takes 2 turns of perfect RNG, which would be pulling 2 attack round 1 and 1 attack on round 2, and you still take damage. This becomes ridiculous when the next floors have 2 or 3 of these enemies attacking you each turn. And then floor 5 has some outrageous plague doctor or axe bug that will obliterate you before your pitiful 1s and 2s can do any damage. Oh, and I forgot to mention, there is a possibility to not draw a single red die on floor 1 and fail the challenge right away. It's only a 4.7% chance, but believe me when I say you will probably see this before you see a winning run. Okay, so it's hard. What do you do to overcome those challenges? Glad you asked. First off, you need a good floor 1. The first fly can take a few health from you, but you can't enter floor 2 with 5 health gone already. Second, you need to make sure to get rid of non-attack dice. You have to be able to play your 2 attack dice every turn, so make sure you have at max only 4 non-attack dice. You need to pick up a better attack soon and try to increase your odds of good rolls, or hope for an event where you can get a really good relic, with red dice of course. You're going to have to sacrifice floor rewards to heal, and you better hope for a merciful floor 5 enemy that won't hit you with big damage every turn, and will finally let you get your attack up to silver level. And after that, well, I hadn't actually made it that far yet. I don't know in what world we could play only red and keep living floor after floor. Elite spiders, elite flies, and axe bugs do huge damage. Elite beetles and elite moths have tons of health to get through without some kind of boost. There's even some event floors that are really hard to pass without using block, for instance. And don't even get me started on the boss, which can do 15 damage to you on turn 1. So it's actually with a considerable amount of pride when I say I killed the first fly, and only took 2 damage. I did get rid of one of my garbage dice. Floor 2 had 2 flies, and thankfully a little heal worm. I got pretty good RNG to kill the worm on turn 1, and only took the minimum 2 turns to kill each fly, but I was already almost dead, so I had to take the heal option for the floor reward. Floor 3 had an event. I could get battle rewards, but I went for a relic since I only had 6 dice and full HP. I got Makeshift Trench, one of the better relics for this challenge since I had 4 dice benched at almost all times. Floor 4 had an ant, a fly, and a red worm. Thanks to Trench, I was able to sneak by with minimal damage. For the reward, I checked to see if there were any better dice to grab. There were no reds offered. I briefly considered if I had made a mistake and should have discarded, but with Trench, the junk dice at least helped me get defense. Floor 5 had a beetle, a moth, and a fly. Not the worst setup, but I still took a ton of damage before killing the stupid fly. On these challenges, I find myself doing insane things, like literally taking time to play the 1 attack so I could save my high 2 attack. Another time, I passed my turn completely so that Trench could save me from 6 damage, and I still lost 1 health. Eventually, I started taking the hits. The Beetle and Moth combo kept healing back up, so I had to get the Beetle dead quickly to be safe. I got my 2 attack dice upgraded to silver, but only had 4 health. 4 health. Floor 6 was a Plague Doctor and a Fly. I got myself a really weird strategy to kill the fly and then cover the infected spots to avoid damage. The game was overall kind, to only give me 2 enemies and good enough rolls to beat them. The Relic was even kinder, and I picked up Fang. I now had a way to generate block and health while only playing attack dice. Floor 7 had a Spider Archer, a Moth, and a Fly. Thankfully, turn 1 only did minimal damage and I was able to kill the Fly. Again, the next turn, the Archer only did minimum attacks, so I played 1 die so I could block and heal. I was able to kill the Archer on the next turn. With the dangerous enemies out of the way, I tried to farm the Moth a bit, but it didn't really play along and only healed up once or twice itself. I think this was by design to prevent farming, so eventually I just killed it. I got Grow, which I put on attack. I figured I was playing this die every turn and would need something for later floors. Although Flash would have been really great to help out the Fang Relic heal me a bit more. Floor 8 had a selection of relics that really gave me nothing. I grabbed the shards just in case the Grasshopper event ended up classing one of my attacks later. On floor 9, I tried again to farm a Moth with mediocre results, but I did end up with 12 HP. The reward did not give me any new attack dice. Floor 10 had a similar enemy setup. I lost a ton of HP, but farmed a Moth up to 8 HP. On floor 11, I did damage control on a Plague Doctor until I killed the assistant spider. I used really small attacks and his own infection spots to climb up to 12 HP. The reward gave me Hollow, which did not mean anything since I only played 1 or 2 dice ever. On floor 12, I had to play fairly carefully to limit the number of attacks the Mimic did, but at this point I had fallen to a rhythm of taking out the big damage enemies as quickly as I could and using the remaining weaker enemies to farm. I guess for this run, Lisper was a vampire. Finally, the tides changed in our favor, and Mark of the Chosen was an option for the reward. I thought about it carefully, and then impulsively chose Mark. This relic is always fabulous. On the following floor 13, I only had to play my 1 Grow attack for increasing damage. The Trench would block most, if not all, attacks, and Fang healed me up to full HP for the first time in a while. But then the event fired. I am sworn to not play a boost or heal, even for events. I played 2 attack and failed the event, sending me backwards in total max HP. Floor 15, I got my first attack up to gold tier. On floor 16, I got a new gold heavy attack die. On floor 17, I learned that heavy might not work the best with Mark, but then upgraded my other attack to gold. On floor 18, I farmed an elite Moth, which did pretty well, and got me nearly to max again. The reward offered me a choice between Blindfold and Origami Frog. Blindfold seems to synergize with an attack-only challenge, but I went with the Frog to get the extra hand size, with the hope of seeing my Grow attack die more frequently. Then the floor 19 event showed me how close I had been to disaster. If I had not picked up the heavy attack die, I would have failed this challenge on any event that required 3 dice. It would have been terrible to come this far and let an event, or even the collector, ruin the run. I ended up passing the event thankfully, and was rewarded with the 1 HP I needed to bring me to max. This brought me to the Scorpion boss fight with only 17 health. I couldn't block, I couldn't heal up. All I could do was take up my dice and attack, attack, attack. Lisper leapt in like a berserker, ignoring the immense 15 damage the Scorpion immediately dealt. I stunned the Scorpion and unleashed my strongest attack. And again, the Scorpion revived and boosted. I had enough health and couldn't do anything but attack anyway, and stunned the Scorpion once more. Again, I unleashed my strongest attack. And again, the Scorpion yet lived and boosted even higher. My paltry health meant nothing. My makeshift trench meant nothing. I was the chosen one, and I attacked. With the power of red, the Scorpion was defeated. This challenge is insane. I do not recommend you try to win, unless you want long, grindy hours looking for favorable RNG. I hope my efforts were entertaining. I'll see you in another challenge.